What's up? It's Rattlesnake Roy. You're listening to episode 60 of the podcast. This one was with Hayden Pedigo, man. It's a good one. He's pretty accomplished and he's a pretty cool dude, and I really enjoyed this one. I had some technical difficulties at the beginning, and then I wasn't wearing headphones, so I couldn't hear myself breathing heavy. You'll hear it throughout the video, and I apologize for that. That's my fault. I need to work on my posture and my breathing techniques. I'm working on it now. Other than that, we talked about some serious shit. We had fun. We goofed around. We drank beers, man. This was a good one, and I'm really excited and really kind of proud of this one to get this on out to you guys. This is a great one. And there's a part where he mentions on how, because Hayden Pedigo was interviewed by Rolling Stones and by Texas Monthly, which to me, it seems like a big deal. It is a big deal. So I was curious as to all that happened, and he explains how it happened, and it really kind of took me by surprise, and it really was something I kind of took in, and I'm going to use to my advantage now. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, you have to listen. So I just want to say thanks, Hayden. I want to say thank you to you guys for listening. You can go check me out on all my social media, fnxfit.com. Use the code SNAKE. Before we get into the podcast, I want to say that I will be lowering my Patreon to $1. So maybe you guys can start fucking with me. And I think I'm going to do, because I'm going to start a sort of like the Bro Beer series. I'm going to do a cooking show called, what is it? What did I call it? The Cook Pit? Something like that. I don't remember what I the Cook Pit, the Cooking Pit. That's what I'm going to call it. Where I kind of if you ever seen Something's Burning hosted by Bert Kreischer, you'll know what I'm talking about. Where, I kind of cook for a guest or two, and then I'm also asking them questions, and I'm also asking them for help in cooking. So what I was getting at was, I think I'm going to move that to the Patreon so I can make it a little bit more loose, a little bit more explicit. So yeah, I need you guys to fuck with me on Patreon, man. It's only going to be $1. But I think it's going to be a good time. I might put those out, once every 2 weeks, once a week. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But be on the lookout for that. Go subscribe to my Patreon. I will be lowering it to $1. And I might just be posting a fucked up shit that I want to post, but I can't. So I'm pretty excited about that. This was a great one, guys. I really hope you enjoy. We'll see y'all next time. 3, 2, 1. We're just going to jump right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what episode this is going to be because I'm editing another one, and I don't know if I want to post it. So this might be 60, this might be 61, who knows. But with me is Hayden Pedigo, man. What's going on?
Nothing much.
Man, I really appreciate you coming, man. I've been super excited about this one.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'll turn you up a little bit. Yeah, man. I was peeping your Instagram, and you commented on my Instagram.
Yeah, I saw you were wearing a Bad Wax shirt.
That's a very rare shirt, isn't it?
It's super rare. Hold on.
Anyways, my bad. Yeah, the Bad Wax shirt, man. I don't even know how I came across that one. I think it was Josh.
Because I think I remember seeing you at the Bad Wax show that was in the back of Keegan Hollis's house in Amarillo. I think you were at that show because it was in a backyard in a garage in Amarillo.
It was cold?
Yes, it was freezing.
Yeah,
it was freezing cold.
Yeah.
But that shirt's very rare. That band was very, very short-lived, really incredible band. They broke up.
Oh, man.
R.I.P. to Matt, the drummer of that band. So they passed away this year. So yeah, it's a super, super sad history because he was a really, really great drummer. And they were a really, really amazing band. Very, very flash in the pan, short-lived Amarillo band.
Is his death the reason they broke up?
No, I think that was after they broke up. Yeah, that happened after.
Not to get too personal.
No, yeah. I mean, it was after that band broke up. But, he was a fantastic drummer. Ty, the guy that wrote all the songs, great songwriter. But yeah, that's the thing. There's been so many great Amarillo bands that were...
Amarillo is like a hidden gem.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. Amarillo is a strange place. I feel like always the most talented bands are the ones that fizzle out, burn out the fastest. They shine really bright and they blow you away, and then 3 months later you'll be somewhere and they'll be, oh, you didn't hear they broke up.
That's exactly what happened with Bad Wags for me. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I was like, I would literally went to their show, and that was the first time I heard them. I'm like, fuck, they're badass. I told T. Kelly that, and he was like, yeah, they're not together. And I'm like, oh.
That's over.
Fuck, that sucks.
That's kind of the disappointment with Amarillo, and I'm sure it's the same with Lubbock, is when you get smaller towns like this, I don't know, creative types kind of explode. Either they stay and implode, or they explode and just fly out of town and go somewhere far away. So those flashes of genius are always just very brief, and then the thing is gone, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of tragic, huh? So your origins are in Amarillo, Texas, huh?
Yeah. Grew up there, born and raised, 26 years, or 25 and a half years in Amarillo.
And like, what part of Amarillo? Let me see if I know my parts.
I grew up out in River Road, which is like the country part of Amarillo, very kind of redneck to a certain extent. I mean, but I definitely grew up in like kind of a little bit nicer part of River Road. My parents were, super religious types, homeschooled us.
Yeah, I saw you were homeschooled.
Yeah.
How was that?
No, it wasn't my thing. I mean, it was very.
You were homeschooled until all of school, right?
Way.
Okay.
Whole way. It was very restricting, and I don't know. It made me feel cut off from the world because I didn't, grow up around other kids and do stuff like that. So it definitely, I don't know. It was just a strange thing.
Well, so after, I guess, high school or school, what was your next move after school?
I basically kind of moved out pretty quickly after graduating high school. I kind of wanted to get out of the whole religious, isolated type thing with my family, because it was just, I did music, and music was always kind of a battle. Art was always a battle with them, and I kind of just wanted my own freedom. So I just left. I got an apartment on my own and just started I feel like trying to catch up on the teen years I missed out on, because I was 18, hadn't really drank at all, hadn't done really anything, and then now it was kind of like I was like experiencing the world for the very first time, and it was
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a great experience. It was just like, it was all at once. It was just like everything. And I remember I met these guys right when I moved out. I didn't know many people. And I met these guys who had a band called Western Plaza. And they were like kind of a garage rock, surf rock type band. And they were all older than me. And they worked for this guy named Stanley Marsh. They were all what they would kind of call Stanley Marsh kids, which Stanley Marsh is a guy who funded the creation of Cadillac Ranch. If you've ever been to Amarillo, the Cadillacs on the ground, also the Dynamite Museum signs in everyone's yard, those weird yard signs with the crazy stuff on them. And that group of guys were all in that crowd of people, which was like the most zany, wild, artistic, crazy group of people. And I met them, and right off the bat, they looked like rock stars. And it was, it felt cool. You were like the 18-year-old kid who didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
You get brought around these guys that were just incredibly cool, and it was just a wild time. It was wild.
Did they really push you to do a lot of things you never did before, or were they pretty cool, or?
I mean, in terms of you mean crazier type things, more wild type things, like drinking?
Yeah, like partying and all that.
Drinking, yeah, probably. I mean, they were way more extreme than I was. I felt like I was more just a spectator who was in awe. I would just watch the insanity of it. It was just wild to witness. And, I was already doing music at that point, and I had released a little tape on some label in Austin called Marmera Records, and they released 50 copies of this tape. And that's kind of what first got my music out just a little bit, just a little tiny bit. And one of the guys in the group came to me and was like, "Hey, I heard that tape you put out, I really liked it. You come over to a party or come hang out and they were all late 20s. I was 18 or 19, and then that kind of just opened my eyes to a lot of things. And especially if you're in Amarillo, they kind of felt like you felt like you were hanging around celebrities in a way. There was something about them that they had that air, which I'm sure there's people you probably know like that, where like when you met them, they had like this air around them.
Dylan Davis, Dry Heaves. Yes, sir. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like similar that air to them. The way they dressed, the way they partied, it was always, every time you were with them, it was just a trip. You just felt like you were just like spectating. It's almost like if you've ever seen the movie Almost Famous, that Cameron Crowe movie, how that kid becomes a writer for Rolling Stone because he lies about his age and he's just following a rock band. I felt like that kid. Like,
nice.
Just like this young kid with a notepad, just kind of like, man, this is a trip. And I ended up playing guitar for them. When the guitar player quit the band, I took his place. And they had 6 songs recorded. And by weird twist of fate, there's a guy from Amarillo who is the keyboard player for the band Cage the Elephant.
Oh, shit.
From Amarillo, and all of those Western Plaza guys knew him. So through him, they went up to Nashville and recorded 6 songs in the studio of the guitar player from Cage the Elephant. So basically, it was kind of like they had tapped into that group, but came back to Amarillo and just had these 6 songs and did nothing with them. Like they just went back to partying and doing whatever. And they had these really good songs. And when I joined, I was kind of like, I want to get this music put out, try to find a way to get this music put out because it's really good. So at the time, Burger Records was kind of a big deal, and the garage rock type stuff back.
They got in some real trouble lately, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had to say that.
It's super. Yeah, it's funny that just recently happened, but like at the time in 2013, they were a big deal, and I was able to contact Burger Records, and the record got put out on Burger on vinyl, like they did a vinyl.
Oh shit!
And that's kind of then when the trouble started happening, because it's almost like what I described as like the small town success syndrome. When you're from a small town, you get on Burger and suddenly you think you're like a big time band. You're not. Like that's not, in the grand scheme of things, for Amarillo it was a big deal, but anywhere else like not that big of a deal. And they started partying hard. It was almost like they were taking the victory lap right when the race started. It's like it's almost like you qualified to like, it's almost like you only qualified to race and then did your like celebrated before you even ran it and then got wasted and missed the race. Like, and basically what ended up happening was it came down to the fact that the band was we were gonna play South by Southwest for the Burger thing down there. And I was more like, hey, I think we need to skip South by, get our shit together and record some more music because we need to make another album. We don't have any more music. The band was like, no, I think we want to go South by Southwest and party. I said, well, I'm out, and quit. And it was kind of a weird experience at that young age because it felt kind of like you were in this whole world, this fun, this wildness. And then it was like the very next day, it was like poof, gone.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 19 or...
That's a very mature move, huh? Like you had to...
Yeah, when I left, I might have already... I might have been 20 when I left, but I was 19 when I joined. But yeah, it was tough because it was like right at the time where it felt like the band was a big deal locally and everyone thought, y'all were great. And then it was like, well, then I quit. And then it's... Next day, it's like the whole world was just gone. And a few months later, they ended up breaking up. Just fell apart, wheels fell off. And I looked, I still laugh, they just had that one album. That's the only thing they ever put out. Infamous Amarillo Stories. It's always the humorous mischance. It's always in reach, but they can't hang on. I've seen it so many times.
Really? Especially in Amarillo, or not especially, but... Oh, fuck, I don't know why I said that, my bad. But
no, I mean, I would say especially in Amarillo.
Really? I didn't want to say that, but it's like I heard it too, and I'm not really in that. I've heard it.
It's places like Amarillo.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, I would say there's similar things that most likely happen in Lubbock too, where you have somebody who's a bright talent and somebody that has a lot of potential, and everyone starts to rally around them, and then it could be anything from getting into drugs to wanting to retreat and run away. It could be anything that makes that dissolve.
It's really like, I imagine your situation's a lot tougher, but it's almost like, it's kind of difficult to watch from the outside. Like, damn, you guys had all that potential and you waste. Like, I almost feel like it's a waste.
No, yeah.
And it's just sad because there's like, so I always think of it like there's so many other people who would kill for that position and you fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And it was just rough because at the time I was so young, which, you know, it wasn't that long ago, but for that time it meant so much to me. Like, the band felt like my baby. Like, I was just very like close with it, and I put a lot of work into the more management side of things. Not so much just playing guitar. It was like making the phone calls, sending the emails, and do stuff like that. And it wasn't easy getting a record put out. And then when it did happen, it's like everyone rallied around, and everyone, I don't know, I think also kind of egged the situation on, because the day we found out Burger was putting out the record, we were filming a video for PBS, because Panhandle PBS asked us to do a video where it was a live performance, and it was filmed super fancy. Like, it was a beautiful video. And I remember they put it up on TV on PBS, the local Panhandle PBS, and like hearing your family say, well, oh, they played y'all's video on PBS the other night during that show, and we saw it. And locally, it was a big deal. And you feel like you get caught up in the whole thing. But luckily, it was weird because all of that stuff fell apart, and I felt like, okay, I need to go back to my music and figure that stuff out. And it was absolutely bizarre because right after I left Western Plaza, I got engaged to my now wife, and I put out an album, and then I started to get a lot of attention off my music. Like, that's when, like, Texas Monthly had the writer.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, that was literally not much long after the whole Western Plaza thing. That's why I say, whenever you're like, I've always joked that whenever I've been at my lowest, where I felt like the biggest failure, it always seems like a few months after that, something huge happens to me. So I try not to get too hung up when I feel like I failed. I just have to go like, just gotta get up. Just gonna have to keep going.
There you go.
Something else will happen. Focus your energy somewhere else. Put it in something else. And then that Texas Monthly thing happened, and that was that whole situation was a real trip. It was a wild situation with that article.
How did that happen? My bad.
Basically, back in 2014, Texas Monthly used to have like a tip line phone number in their magazine where you call if you have a story tip. So I was at my lunch break, on my lunch break at Amarillo National Bank when I worked there, and I was 20 at the time, and I called this tip number, and it was like leaving a voicemail. And this was, the funny thing was, this was right before I left Western Plaza, and I was calling to recommend a story about Western Plaza.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny, as the phone was ringing, I just heard it ringing, I don't even know why I did it. I thought, screw it. I'm gonna pitch a story about myself.
Nice.
This is before I left, so I'm like, hi, my name is Hayden Pedigo. I'm 20 years old from Amarillo, Texas. I just made this album with all these experimental music icons on it, and I don't know. I just kind of rambled something off. A week later, I got it was either a phone call or an email from somebody at the magazine, and they were like, hey. Our senior editor here, Michael Hall, wants to give you a call and just chat with you. So the guy called me, and super nice, and he was like, hey Hayden, I listened to the album and I really like it. I'm interested in writing a story about you for the magazine. I remember asking like, oh, is this going to be online only? And he was like, no, this will be like actually in the print issue.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
He said, so the goal is I would like to fly down in a month and come visit you for 3 days. So it was like, okay, this is crazy. So he ended up coming down and just hanging out for 3 days. And he's an incredibly cool guy, like just an amazingly cool guy. And he talked to, like, met my family, interviewed them. And it was very strange. Like, I think my parents were paranoid about how they were going to come across in it because they were so, like, religious type. And there is a lot of it in there of them being like, we think this type of music is more of darkness and things like that. It was like very heavy.
Really?
And they were more worried about how they were going to look in it. And it was kind of strange because I was like, this is like such a huge moment for me. You know, why? It just seems so misguided.
Yeah, I'm interested. This might seem stupid, but so what does like a guy like that do? Does he stay near you and spends the whole day with you? Does he like sit down with you and be like, hey, like ask you questions? Like, how do those 3 days? What are those 3 days like when he's with you?
So it's basically he would have a recorder.
He's like at a hotel and then he comes and meets you.
Stay up at a hotel. He would meet me at my apartment, and it would be like he would do interviews like in like my apartment with me, and then it would be like, hey, let's go do something. Like, what do you like to do?
Okay.
Here? So I remember like I took him out in my car and just drove the Amarillo Boulevard playing the band This Heat. I remember just playing it for him and talking about why this music meant so much to me, why experimental music meant so much to me. And that's kind of what he wrote about. And a lot of it, the thing that was kind of ironic is a lot of what he ended up writing about, a lot of Amarillo people were kind of pissed off at the article because he more painted it like Amarillo didn't get what I was doing and they didn't care.
Oh, okay.
And the funny thing was, to a certain extent, I agreed. Like, Amarillo really didn't care about what I was doing. I was kind of like making music, and every day I was just emailing labels and people and stuff like that. I wasn't really playing shows in Amarillo. I was just making stuff.
So what you just said right there, I was wondering how you knew so many people and how many like records and like music wise, how you got you were emailing people your music and just forcing yourself out. Okay.
And the thing is, it wasn't like blind emailing in terms of just like emailing whoever.
So you just almost annoyed them with your shit, kind of?
To an extent. The thing was, I always made sure to email people that, because of what they wrote about, they would potentially have an interest in what I make. I always tell people, like,
you kind of did your research?
Yeah, like, don't just blindly email a music writer.
I was wondering how you were out there like that. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like websites like Pitchfork always say, like, you don't just blindly email a writer on Pitchfork to get a review. You try to find the person that writes about music that's the most like yours, because that's what their taste is like. You have to appeal to what they're into if they're going to write about it. And the thing that I always joked about was I was always annoyed because I would have people say to me, "Man, you're so lucky. You're so lucky."
I kind of wanted to say that too.
Yeah, but the thing is, the reason I always correct.
Now I know.
The reason I always correct them, and the reason I kind of find them annoying, is I always say that, listen, I'm not luckier than you, and in a lot of cases I'm not more talented than most people. I've just been told no more than you have. That's what I always tell people. I've been told no.
I like that. Sweet.
You know, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people are scared to be told no. They're scared to ask, and I'm like, ask the.
Yeah, I think they're scared to ask.
Yeah, because it is intimidating. But the thing is, luckily through email, the worst thing they can ever do to you through email is not respond. And that's nothing. Like that's.
Yeah, now that you put it like that's like emails, like it's email. Like you're not face to face. You know, you don't hear a voice.
Yeah, you're not calling their house, so it's a lot easier to just like. I've had so much crazy stuff happen in my life, literally because I took a chance emailing. I called a story tip line. I asked something that seemed far beyond the reach of what I should have probably been able to do, but. Sometimes people will say yes to really insane things where you're like, whoa, I didn't think they would say yes. Now I'm just going to roll with this. But yeah, I mean, I've sent thousands upon thousands upon thousands of emails. It's not even.
You got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my thing was always being genuine in them.
Is there like an equation to getting it right, or you just never know? You know what I mean?
No, I think a lot of it is tell a story. Tell a story. The thing is, don't say, I make this music that sounds like this, and this. I like, people are attracted to stories. That's the big difference. And
that's why I like podcasts.
Yeah, people like stories. Yeah. And the ultimate thing, though, be it an album, be it a podcast, be it anything, the ultimate key to success with anything is context. And that's where a lot of people fail, is if you don't have a definite context to what you're doing. And context could be an underlying set of beliefs or the thing that drives you or what you want something to be. To me, I describe having context as like your ideas are the train, context is the railroad track. It doesn't mean you're boxed in. It's the guide that gets you to the places you want to go. And I feel like a lot of people I knew hated Amarillo and complained about Amarillo. I learned to contextualize Amarillo and made it a part of my story. Because I've joked before that there's a lot of stuff I did in Amarillo that I got attention for that if I would have done in Portland or Austin, I wouldn't have. And that's an absolute fact. And a lot of people miss that idea. They're like, I'm in Amarillo, I'm in Lubbock, I can never do something big. I'm in this place, I can't do it. It's like, that's where you're wrong. Learn to contextualize it. Make a story out of it. That's the same reason Terry Allen wrote Lubbock on Everything. He might have hated Lubbock, but he found a way to contextualize Lubbock that made people that have never been to Lubbock and never will go to Lubbock for 45 minutes interested in Lubbock. And it felt like they had...
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell Lubbock's stories through the people that live here and what they're doing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? A lot of people hate Lubbock. I miss both of those. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Lubbock sucks. I don't like it here, but you know, whatever. Fuck them.
Hates their own town. I mean, there's people.
I really don't. In a way, I guess.
A lot of people hate where they live. You can find somebody who grew up in Los Angeles and they're, man, fuck Los Angeles. I want to go out to the country. I'm sick of this place.
Yeah, that's true. I guess people just like to complain.
Yeah, that's true. People like to complain. And to be honest, living in Amarillo wasn't easy. Kicked my ass a ton. And with the Texas Monthly thing, I remember when that article finally ran. And I'm talking about, like, I went to Walmart and picked up copies of it off the shelf. And on the cover, up at the top, it said, the coolest guitarist in Texas lives in ... Amarillo, ? Is what it said. And I remember thinking, I bet like a bunch of people are gonna like say something to me about how sick this is. Like, that so many people are gonna...
That's pretty fucking badass.
One person said something to me. One
really?
guy was like, oh, I saw an article, that was pretty cool.
Damn.
No one said anything. And it was just kind of like crickets. And that was the thing about Amarillo, is it was kind of...
I was going to mention it to you because that was the first thing I noticed in your Instagram was your Texas Monthly. That's pretty fucking cool if you ask me.
Yeah, no one said it.
That's crazy.
It was crazy for me, and that's why I was tripped out. I thought people would be stoked. I thought people would say things. Nothing. And I knew basically everyone in the music scene. I was really involved at that time and knew everybody. And all those people I knew said nothing. I would see him and it would go, hey, what's up, man?
Did you just say, hey, look at this?
No. I said, how are you doing? And went back to what I was doing. And it still kind of stung a bit because he wanted to be acknowledged. And
hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Like, good job. That was sick. It stung. Sometimes I don't know what it was. I mean, I do think in Amarillo sometimes people don't like to see other people succeed.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it jealousy almost?
I don't know. I mean, it just sucks because it was just...
I feel like that's like the case. Like, a lot of people say, like, yeah, we want to see people make it out of our hometown, but they really don't.
Yeah.
Unless it's them.
Well, yeah, because I mean...
Like, come on, bro.
It's still like... It stings a little bit. Just because, like, if you see somebody do it, it's going to sting. Like, I would be lying if there was, like, if I said there was some, like, guitar player similar to me that I saw blow up. I obviously wouldn't be mad and wouldn't be shitty, but there definitely would be a part of me that would be like, damn it. Shit, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is Amarillo is kind of a trip just because I always felt like I was doing things, like, on my own planet out there. Like, it was just me doing my thing, and I would get attention in Europe. Like, people in Europe would be like, I love what you're making. And I would always joke, why is it people in Europe are stoked on what I'm doing, and people 2 blocks over from me don't give a shit. They just don't care, you know? And it was just, I got over it after a while because it's just like, at least it's cool that people outside of Amarillo care about it, you know?
Yeah, at least somebody does, right?
Yeah.
So how'd you pull the Rolling Stones?
The
article.
Oh, with the city council.
Okay, should we go to that then? Because you were in city council.
I ran for.
You ran for it.
I ran for.
What year?
2019 was the year.
So, what made you decide to do that? You ran for Amarillo City Council.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, what happened was in 2018, me and a friend of mine made a video as a joke. It was like a fake city council campaign video. It was just kind of a gag video. It was pretty funny. I put it up on Instagram that night and got some likes, and my wife was like, "You should put it on Facebook." And I never really put a bunch of weird stuff on Facebook. I always kept that pretty normal, and I was like, "Nah, I don't want to put that up on Facebook." And then my wife's like, "Just put it up on Facebook." So I did, and people started like immediately, like 10 minutes at a present, comment, share, right off the bat. And I was kind of, next time I went out, it showed 7,000 views.
Oh,
and then
shit.
20,000 views. And then it was 50,000 views on the Facebook upload of it. And then News Channel 10 was like, area man announces.
Oh, no.
Campaign. And I was like, oh shit, like that was a joke. Like actually running. And then it kind of turned into this discussion of like, maybe I could actually do this. And then I decided, you know what, I'm actually going to try my hand at running. I'm not going to take any donations or spend any money. And it was the hardest job I've ever done in terms of, like, I've worked a lot of jobs, but running for city council was the hardest job. Like, I remember I made a point to go, I'm going to go to every forum I can. And the forums are like, these aren't young people like us. These are older, more conservative voters that are there to ask questions Q&A style, and they expect you to know the answers. So I already had my opinions on Amarillo, but then I was...
So they were asking you questions?
Asking me questions.
Oh, shit.
Forums with other candidates. So we're talking about the current city council members and mayor and the challenging, like, all up on a stage, and they gave you a mic and you're in a suit and have to answer questions in the audience.
So, like, to say you're officially running for city council, do you have to pay?
Okay, so the way it works is there's two ways you can... Basically, the way you can get on the ballot. And this is crazy. A lot of people don't know this. I spoke at a few high schools in Amarillo while I was running, because I was educating high school kids on this is how you run for city council. Because you have to live in the city. To run for city council in Texas, you have to live in the city for, I believe, 6 months.
Okay.
Then after 6 months, you can run for city council during the election.
In the city limits?
I believe, yes, you would have to be in city limits to run.
Okay.
So the next thing, you can be 17 years old and run for city council as long as you're 18 on the day you're sworn into that position. So a high school student could run for city council. So if you meet those requirements, live in the state for 6 months, be 17 and a half or 18, then you can either get 100 signatures and it's free to get on the ballot, or you pay $100. That's it, just $100. You got out of City Hall, you fill out a bunch of paperwork. I remember I had to go into City Hall, fill in that paperwork, gave them the $100, and then I remember the next day I had to go to City Hall. The mayor's there. It's in the room of the city where the council meets, and we legit had to draw out of an Easter basket I was running for place 1, because there's a mayor and there's 4 council members, and each council member is place 1, 2, 3, 4. I ran for place 1, and there was 4 people, including me, running for that seat. There was the incumbent who was already in that seat running for a second term, and there was me and 2 other people that were running for that seat. So what you had to do is, to be fair on the ballot, they draw numbers on who's going to be first, second, third, fourth on that ballot. I guess because they don't
like the list?
On the list, so people can't go, oh, it's biased, they were first. So you draw...
that's pretty fair.
Out of an Easter basket, and you get your number, and that's where you're at on the ballot. So then once you're ready to go, then boom, forums start, like League of Women Voters forums, the Amarillo Tea Party Conservative forums, every political group would have a forum. They were at places like churches, they were at like the Veteran Hall of Affairs Club Hall, like these old just like meeting rooms where citizens could show up. They were always above the age of 50, older people.
That's what I was just about to ask. They were all older.
And then you have to get up there, and people would be like, okay, I have a question for... They could either say everyone, or they could go for Mr. Pedigo, I have a question about what would you do about this, this, and this. And I had to do a lot of studying because I wanted to do it right, and I didn't want to look dumb.
Oh, you didn't want to half-ass it?
And especially because I had already done a goofy video. There was a lot of expectations that I was going to be a moron. I think a lot.
Were you kind of like the one everybody was looking at, you think?
I would say quite a bit, just because I was...
Because of the video?
Yeah, and a lot of people were... Through social media, a lot of people were aware of it, and it was just kind of like, it was a lot of pressure going on, and it's funny because there's so many layers to this story. Like, there's so much to it that it's...
Really? We could go a whole podcast episode doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you probably could. It was just, it was a lot going on. And I ended up losing.
Oh, okay.
But out of the 4 people that ran, I came in second. And I spent no money at all. And I beat a retired judge, which was kind of cool to be like, I beat a judge. Like, that was crazy. And another older guy that ran. So to be 25 and come in second with no money.
Did they offer you money? Did anybody?
Well, no. Well, so people asked if they could donate to my campaign.
Oh, okay.
People go, can I do this? Can I do that? But I opted to run without donations because if you accept donations running for city council, you have to change your reporting. Basically, I had to file like monthly reports while running to the city, basically saying how much I had been given. So you had, I believe, 3 different times you filled out reports saying this is how much I've made, and mine were always zeros. But I had to turn in those reports saying I have accepted no money. How
long was the campaign? Was yours?
So in total, I mean, it's really about, I think, 3 or 4 months for the whole thing. And part of it kind of started before I was even on the ballot, because people kind of start saying they're going to run before they're on the ballot. One of the funniest things is I've always been a big advocate for not paying red light camera tickets.
Okay.
Because you don't have to, and it's a complete scam. You don't have to pay red light tickets. That's important for everyone to know.
There you go.
If you get a red light ticket, they're usually $75. If they say after a month if you don't pay, it's raised to like $100, and they write on there, if you don't pay, it could affect you getting your car registration, and it can be sent to collections. And there's some funny things about that. And basically, they don't enforce any of that because feasibly they can't pay collections to go after people on those. They're not criminal offenses, so you can't be charged for anything. They can't affect your credit. They can't do anything. Basically, the companies that do those red light tickets are private companies based out of Phoenix, Arizona. If you ever get a red light ticket, you'll look, it will say, please pay your ticket to this.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's an Arizona address. And I stopped paying them, but I didn't know when you ran for city council, you couldn't be indebted to the city at all. That includes library fines. If you had a $5 library fee, you forgot about
They'll dig that shit up?
the city will dig it up and you'll have to pay. So I ended up having to pay 3 red light tickets that I never intended to pay because
yeah.
But then I was just like, well, I ran for city council, I have to pay these stupid red light tickets so I can run. So I ended up I paid the $300. So right for me, I ended up paying more $400 to run because of my red light tickets. You know.
God damn it.
They'll get you.
Gotta be gotta obey those traffic laws, man. They come and bite you in the ass. So that led to Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Same way I've always done it. I basically.
Oh, you did it. They did, like, you sent out to the okay.
I initiated.
Wow, I like that, man. I thought you got lucky. You know, you made your luck.
Yeah, I went to RollingStone.com and went to their news section in politics. And I noticed they really had only one guy writing a lot of the political stories, like one specific.
So for those guys, for people like me and listening, you can hit up people and be like, you should write a story. And
yeah, you can ask them.
I didn't know that. I always wondered, like, if they just, okay, now I look stupid. I just wondered if they just, especially with like social media, they just got word of it and they like looked into it. But I guess.
No, I mean, those people like, I would never have known about what I was doing. Like, they probably wouldn't have known about that. So
Yeah, I was wondering.
And the other thing, a lot of writers don't put their email out publicly. That's the thing is, I've definitely had to do some investigating work to find some writers' emails. Luckily, this writer, like, on the website had his contact of, like, so I found this guy's contact. I sent him an email with a long spiel about my city council campaign and how it started, this whole deal. And then a week later, the guy responded, was like, I want to do a story on this. He did a long, hour-long phone interview with me. A friend of mine, Jared, took some great pictures of me. And then it was kind of like, okay, I'm getting the story done. It's going to happen like in 4 weeks. Then I think during that time, the government shutdown happened. Like, I believe a government shutdown for like 40 days. Some like one of the longest government shutdowns when they do the blackout.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that year.
Yeah, well, it would have been right at the start of 2019
Okay.
when it happened. So then it was kind of like, obviously that guy had way more important shit to write about. So I was like, oh no, like this story's not good. It's going to get scrapped because all of this is happening. And I remember I hadn't heard from that guy in a while. Like it had been almost 2 months, and I think it was 2 months away from the election. And I was so bummed out because I kind of told some friends, I think this is going to happen. And this is why I don't tell people about stuff until it happens, because I've had a lot of things like seem like they're going to happen and then the rug gets pulled out. That's why I try not to tell people about what I'm working on, because you don't want to look dumb and be like, could you imagine if I would have gone around Amarillo being like, Rolling Stone's writing an article about me, and then it never happened. You're the guy where like, remember I was saying that?
Yeah.
I remember I was just super bummed out about it because I was like, oh, I got scrapped. And one day I was at work at the credit union I worked at in my office, got an email from the guy. It was the link, and I clicked it, and it's like Rolling Stone with the big picture, and I was just like, oh my god, like it was just it was so insane just looking at it and being like,
yeah, I thought it was like it would have like I was expecting to hear you say, yeah, it was a surprise and la la la. Nah, man, I guess it makes it that much more special almost, huh? Since you were the one that put in that effort. You put in the effort for it, and then it comes back, and you're like, ha, look, I'm not a liar, guys.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, doing that stuff, like, has definitely made me work on having patience, because think about me emailing that guy for the story going live was probably over 3 months of a process from the first email to it going live on the website. So it was so hard to not be impatient and be like, I want to see it, where is it at? And then you just start to lose hope, like, oh, it's not going to happen. And then when it did, it was just like, I remember when I put that up on my Facebook and Instagram, my phone just exploding, where it was just like, it was overwhelming. Like, it legit was just overwhelming.
From friends and just, everybody?
Friends and people going, dude, like, holy shit, that's crazy. And just responding, I know, like, it's wild. It was a crazy deal.
Yeah, my mom was like, who's coming over? I'm like, I think he's the biggest guest we've had. He was on Rolling Stones, man. He was on Texas Monthly. No disrespect to my other guys, but you that's pretty fucking cool, man. I'm like, damn, it's inspiring because I'm gonna flood their emails with. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. But that's fucking crazy, man. So did that like open doors? What kind of doors did that open up, or did it?
I mean, it got me a hell of a lot more attention.
Okay.
Good and bad. I mean, that was really the thing that, more than the video, that was the thing that now when I went out in Amarillo, like in town, just going to places, then I started getting stopped by people and people being like, can I take a picture with you? And things like that. And that was the trip. And also, you could tell there was like some older types that maybe thought I was being disrespectful.
They didn't want that attention for Amarillo, kind of almost?
Yeah, they probably thought I was making them look bad, like...
0 for 3.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think they thought I might have been making the city look bad, and I was kind of like, the current city council's making the city look bad, not me. I'm trying to bring some hope to people. I'm trying to bring some hope to the younger people.
So once you, you were running it, you really wanted to,
do it.
Put your foot. You wanted to make some change.
Yes. And that's a big thing. It's funny because moving, I've only lived in Lubbock now for a month and a half.
So it's just been Amarillo and Lubbock.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just moved, and that's the thing. I just moved to Lubbock because my wife got offered to get her master's at Texas Tech, and they're kind of like helping out. I'll just say that. It was like a big opportunity for my wife to get her master's degree in theater design. So it was kind of like, oh, we have to sell our house, leave my job, find another job. COVID's happening. We have to get to Lubbock.
Yeah.
And everything fell into place perfectly, and we ended up here. But the difference between Amarillo and Lubbock politically, this is the big thing. This is what screws up Amarillo. Is Amarillo has a format of governing called single-member district, at large is what Amarillo has. So at large, the way that works is, so you have a mayor and 4 council members, and they represent the whole city. They don't represent sections.
Oh, okay.
It's the whole thing at large. So it doesn't matter where you're from, you vote for everyone, not just specific seats. Where here in Lubbock uses single-member districts, which is a way better form of governing, meaning the mayor and council here are split up into districts. So if I live in Lubbock and I'm running for city council place 2, that means I will only govern and represent the area I live in.
So you could you could go around your neighborhood and be like, I'm representing y'all.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh yeah, I remember you grew up here. And,
yeah, and you know.
It should be everywhere, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you know how your neighborhood runs. Where in Amarillo, all of the really rich white neighborhoods are flawless. Where any of the other minority.
I witnessed that today, dude.
In Amarillo or Lubbock.
In Lubbock, you said. My bad. Finish your thing, and then I'll tell you.
Okay. But a lot of the people on city council are rich.
You were saying like it's flawless
on the rich,
yeah,
yuppie side of town, and then any other side, it's like we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I don't know. I could be wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but like there was a street sweeper cleaning up really hard on the rich side of town, predominantly white.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's the rich side of town, and I was thinking, yeah, they're not doing that in other parts of town. They're cleaning up this, like he was cleaning up mud, and they're picking up trash. They're really doing like making it look good, and I'm like, yeah, that's not happening everywhere else. I see it.
Yeah.
So don't come at me, actually.
Yeah, and that's an absolute fact. I'm gonna grab another beer.
I got you, man. I told you.
One of the funny things is, I have seen that for so long in Amarillo, where obviously the minority neighborhoods, the poor neighborhoods, all of them, they've had to take care of shit on their own. Like I remember going and
I guess that's what it is, huh?
Yeah, I remember going and speaking to like the Lao community in Amarillo, like went up to their temple and everything, because it's like I basically went and spoke to a bunch of more of the immigrant communities, like the South Sudanese community, the Lao community. I went and
I've been a part of the, what was it, South Sudanese?
South Sudanese. Yeah.
I went to like one of their church things. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So I went and spoke to them, and I remember when I went and spoke to the Lao community out there at the town. I remember one of the guys saying, like, they're way out in Amarillo, like they're in the part of town the city council don't give a fuck about, the part that the white people will never drive their Lexus through type area. I remember one of the guys saying that they used to play soccer a lot, and that the park over in their neighborhood was not kept up at all by the city, and he said they wanted to play a game and 5 of them went out there with their push mowers and had to mow the park to play soccer. And I was like, how fucking ridiculous is that? But if you go over to like the colonies and the greenways in Amarillo, their parks are flawless. Like you're not going to see a bunch of yuppies mowing their park. You know, they would.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Especially because here is like the south part of Lubbock is real developing and real rich. There's a lot of money put in. A lot of people are actually trying to get our mayor out because he's worried about certain sections and not worried about other sections.
Yeah.
Which is nuts, but yeah. I don't know about Amarillo, but I know here our parks are. I think it's private. Like you hire like private companies to maintain, but still, like it costs money, right? So they can't really afford that.
They probably have the city has contracts with people, or probably companies get bid for the job, and the city pays for them.
Yeah, I know how fucked up that shit is, man. And I just have hope. You know, hope can only get you so far, right?
Yeah.
That the people representing us really mean it, especially in Lubbock or in Amarillo. But they don't sometimes, man. They're in their own. I guess you know more than me, but fuck, man. What did that shirt say? You got to be rich. You got to be white.
Yeah, I made a shirt that said how to run for city council and win.
Yeah.
And it said one, be old, 2, be white, 3, be wealthy. That's it. Good luck.
Yeah.
I got a lot of angry comments over that, and it reminded me of that reaction image of Hannibal Buress from Eric Andre, where he's like, "Why are you booing me? I'm right." Like that's what I felt like. I felt like, "Why are you booing me? I'm right." That's how this works.
I saw one where they put that, and no disrespect to anybody, where it's like, "Why are you booing me? She's black." About Kamala Harris being the VP.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty funny." I don't like her, just to let you know, but whatever. We're not into that.
Oh man.
But yeah, I kind of want to just backtrack a little. I'm sorry I let things go. How long have you been playing guitar?
I started playing when I was 12, and I'm 26 now.
And what got you into it?
I was just really into when I would listen to music, the sound of the guitar. I mean, the first thing I vividly remember, the thing that sparked it into me was my mom, for some reason, even though they were super religious, my mom always played Santana.
Okay.
I always remember just hearing Carlos Santana's guitar, and at that time, it's almost like you don't even think of it as a guitar. You just think like, I want whatever that is. Like it felt like energy. Like to me, OG like old Santana. Like you have that guitar, and I don't think it's a guitar. It just sounds like energy. You're like, I want whatever that is. You don't even know what it is at the time. Like, you know it's a guitar, but as an 11-year-old, it's like magic. You're just like, I want that. I want that. And I started harassing my parents for a guitar. They gave me one, and I started taking guitar lessons with the guy. And then from there, I kind of just flew off with it, and just guitar became like my life raft. It was a thing that became very special to me.
If you could put out like a word or something to describe your style, like what kind of music do you play?
I mean, probably the word I would describe is ambient. There's no singing. It's very relaxing and very tone-based. It's all... I wanted to evoke feelings, be it melancholy or things like that. Like it's very feeling-based, and I want it to be environmental. It's like I want to wallpaper memories and experiences. I want it to be that thing that's in the background, that soundtracks experience, you know.
And what was your first? When was the first time you played in front of people, like a live show?
Probably when I was around 17 or 18, I started playing like open mics at coffee shops, and you know I was very nervous. It was hard for me to play in front of people back then. But yeah, just because I'd never really played around people, so I started playing just open mics. And I think a lot of people were like, that's different. Like, they just thought it was strange. They just thought it was kind of odd.
And it is pretty crazy, man. And then, are you in a band now?
No, I still do my own music.
Yeah, I seen your Instagram. What's that building you were at in Ransom? You know what I'm talking about.
The Bruno House.
Yeah, well, I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, the Bruno House, incredible piece of architecture. It's a house on the edge of Lubbock.
If you've been out to Ransom, it's in Ransom, right?
Yeah.
For us, I don't know. If you know what I'm talking about, it's up at the top, and it's got big old windows in the front. You know, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
Star Wars.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I remember the first time I ever saw it was in Beyonce's sister Solange Knowles had a music video for her song "Cranes in the Sky," It has like 50 million views on it because it's Beyonce's sister. And I remember at the end, Solange is on top of that house.
No shit.
Solange came to Lubbock and is on the roof of the Bruno house. And
I didn't know that.
And I remember just being like, Solange Knowles went to Lubbock literally to stand on top of the Bruno house. And right when I got to Lubbock, it was one of the first things I went and saw because I was like, I want to see it. And I was in awe when I saw it.
It's pretty fucking cool. I've never been up close.
You need to. It's very like, there's something when you're there, it feels like you're on a different planet. There's just something so strange.
And you've been inside?
I haven't been inside of it. I haven't been inside.
Oh.
But you can just walk around it and look around. I wish I could go inside, but I think you have to come in contact with the people that manage it now. Cause the guy
it's not like a house?
No, the guy that made it died before he finished it. He taught at Tech, and he worked on that house for years and years, and it's not fully finished. He passed away before it's finished. So if you look on the inside, there's like a couch and like a coffee table, but it's not like, no one lives there.
Oh, man.
It's an empty house. It's private.
I thought some like rich dude owned it and he lived there every now and then.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure it's one.
I mean, because it's pretty nice up there in Ransom, though. I mean,
No, it's a nice place.
It's a nice view.
Yeah, I mean, that spot right there is the view. That house overlooks the lake and everything.
I did not know that about Beyonce's sister. Holy shit.
I'll have to show you later. It's a really...
I wonder how she got, is it like that famous?
I don't
or
know.
that kind of like, not famous, but like known?
It's well known to an extent within like weird modern architecture houses, and I'm sure, you know, people like Solange have a team of tastemaker type people that go,
yeah, especially from Beyonce's money, huh?
Yeah, we use this type of background, this and this, and someone was probably like, oh, in Lubbock there's this house, it would look great if you were on top of it. And she literally is standing on top of the house. And it's not even like CGI, it's not green screen. She came to Lubbock. Like
imagine just being like a runner or something.
And just see
like you're like
up on top
yeah,
of the
you're
house.
Just like visiting your mom for the weekend and you're like, I'm gonna go for a run. Oh shit, that's them, like a fucking video team and shit. You're like, oh my god, that would have been nuts.
That would be nuts. I wish I could have been there.
How long ago was that? You know?
Probably 5 years.
Fuck, I can't believe I never knew that.
Yeah, fun Lubbock fact.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm always interested in really not like buildings like that, which is cool though. I'll give it that. Like whatever, but like cabins.
Yeah.
When they build cabins, really cool, like modern.
Yeah.
Sort of like in the edge of a waterfall or on the mountains. Architecture is really crept up on me. Really.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just like it. I kind of want to build.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna. It makes me almost kind of want to joke. That's just like I'm not rich enough to even think about that shit. like.
Well, that out there.
Yeah, it's just like I don't even think about that stuff. I'll never be able to do that, so I just try not to think about it. I admire it, but
It's really cool to admire, especially when you're out there, drunk at the lake.
Yeah.
Like,
Just looking at these
maybe
houses.
one day.
Maybe one day, yeah.
Be a success and be out there. No, man, that's cool. I didn't know it wasn't a house.
Yeah, no one lives there.
If you had the money, would you buy it?
I would have to have a lot of money because most likely, like, it's unfinished, so you have to wonder, like, is it insulated? Is it like one of those places where you go in and it's like sweltering?
Just baked in there?
Just hot because there's no insulation in it. It might just be for looks, but I know he never finished it.
There's a lot of weirdos like that. No disrespect. They just do weird shit in Lubbock like that. Or in Amarillo, I guess, too.
For real, yeah.
And they just leave it there and you're like, a hidden gem. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. I was talking yesterday, it's funny, to Tristan and Blake, because we were talking about Stubs barbecue sauce. You know the brand Stubs barbecue sauce? Have you ever seen it?
With the black guy in it?
Yeah, with the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
It says Stubs. And Stubs is like an Austin institution. Stubs is a big deal. And I remember a long time ago, somebody who's like big into barbecue, like a big barbecue aficionado type person, told me, oh, Stubs, yeah, the Lubbock place got started in Lubbock. I was like, Stubs is an Austin thing. And they were like, no, the original Stubs was Lubbock. And I remember this is the Stubs Wikipedia page. And we're talking about not only the Stubs restaurant in Lubbock and Austin, but the Stubs barbecue. Like, you can go to Walmart and see the one with the guy with the cowboy hat, Stubs brand. And this is on.
I don't remember who told me that.
This is on.
Might have been them too.
Yeah, this is on the Wikipedia page for Stubs, and it says in 1968, Stubs opened his first restaurant, Stubs Barbecue, at 108 East Broadway in Lubbock. That was the original location. So it says in the early 70s and early 80s, it says in the 70s and early 80s, Sunday night jam sessions held in the small restaurant hosted such musicians as Terry Allen, Johnny Cash, Joe Ely,
Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Willie Nelson, Waters. Yeah, and that was the thing was like a lot of people don't know, like Lubbock has like some, like obviously people fixate on Buddy Holly, but the thing that drives me crazy is Lubbock has that big advantage over Amarillo is Amarillo does not have the amount of cool people like at all that Lubbock has, because outside of Buddy Holly, you have Joe Ely, you have Terry Allen, you have Legere Stardust Cowboy, you have Stubs, you have all of these people that went on to do legitimately incredible things, and they're all from Lubbock.
Yeti. They're not from Lubbock, but they used to live here. The guys who created Yeti.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they went to Tech. So
they can afford the cabins we're talking about.
Yeah.
They have the biggest cabins. But that was the thing, was like, I never knew Stubs Barbecue was a Lubbock.
I think those two fuckers told me about that. And I think it used to be a bar. My stepdad would say, like, Stubs used to be a bar.
Well, it was a restaurant and bar.
Okay.
That's what they had the jam.
Yeah, so not too long ago, it was still here. But I guess it's not.
It left in, I think, 82 is when it was demolished.
Okay.
He opened in Austin in 83, I believe. And it's weird because now it's ironic. It's the whole Lubbock Amarillo thing is now people know Stubs as an Austin thing.
Yeah, that's what
Austin.
everybody...
And it's kind of weird because, like, he was in Lubbock for a long time. Like, Stubs was here for a very long time. And I knew that because I was reading about Terry Allen, and there was a photo of Terry Allen and Stubs, I believe, and it said, like, at the original Stubs Barbecue in Lubbock. And I was like, that can't be the same Stubs. Like, and then I looked up and I was like, that's the Stubs Barbecue. It was a Lubbock thing.
Shout to Lubbock.
I bet that was some fire barbecue.
Shit,
That was
yeah.
like the best barbecue Lubbock ever had.
And I bet it was so, like, nobody, like, it was probably for, like, the working man, you know, nobody gave a fuck. Like, we're gonna go here for lunch and then we're gonna go back to work.
Pre-Instagram,
Yeah.
fuck about food.
Yeah, this just fill us up and taste good and we're gonna go back to work.
Yeah,
type
exactly.
shit.
And then after hours, you're like, I'll get a barbecue sandwich and drink 20 beers. Unless Stevie Ray Vaughan's doing blow in the bathroom.
I really wish I could have seen him. My grandpa's seen him.
I'm sure it was a trip. And his drummer, or his bass player is from Dumas, Texas.
Okay.
Which is wild. Another panhandle.
Up there northern.
It's 45 minutes outside of Amarillo.
That's the next town up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandpa told me he saw him at the state fair.
Wow.
Doing Texas Flood.
That'd be sick.
And he claims it rained when he did it. I'm like, oh, whatever, dude. That's your story. But I know he's seen him. So, I mean, that's fucking...
Stevie Ray Vaughan's one of those things that...
I think he's my favorite guitar player ever.
Right. I always say Stevie Ray Vaughan's one of those people that you don't even have to, like, enjoy that type of music to, like, respect him straight up as a guitar player. Like, Stevie Ray Vaughan was a fucking force. Like, that guy was a tidal wave.
You know how you said, like, they were, like, look like rock... He looked like a rock star. He was like... He looked like that guy.
Yeah.
I mean...
Stevie Ray Vaughan swag.
Yeah.
And I always love, like, old videos of him, like, dripping sweat. Looks like he just did a fuck ton of blow, snort all the time. Like, all the time. You're like, man, Stevie Ray Vaughan did mad blow.
Yeah, that's why...
He was notorious for it.
Yeah, he was like a big junkie, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that's probably why he was just shredding his ass off, sweating like crazy, just did a bunch of blow, gonna play for
Playing his fucking hands like crazy.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen that video of him where he breaks his string and he still plays and then they switch it mid fucking song? I think he's the best player ever, but whatever. I don't know.
He's definitely up there. Great player. But that's the thing that's cool for me living in Lubbock is it's kind of cool learning about this place because I never really visited Lubbock all that much. But it's a pretty charming place. I'll say that's the thing I like about Lubbock is as opposed to Amarillo, people seem more easygoing here. Amarillo's more tense.
Really?
People are tensed up, like meaner and harder. Where Lubbock is more like even it's strange too because Lubbock's not all that far away from Amarillo, but the accent is a little different. I've noticed some older types where it's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I've noticed some guys that are like, "That's kind of a little bit of a different accent."
Here?
Yeah, it's
okay.
a bit slower, like more relaxed, like, "Hey, how's
I guess I have to pay attention to that. I love accents.
Yeah,
I love
it. Lubbock, as opposed to Amarillo, I've noticed more of an accent on older folks in Lubbock have a more like laid back kind of accent. And I like it. Like it's very just easygoing, you know.
I think Lubbock's pretty chill.
No, it is. I feel like that's the thing is I feel like everyone's on Lubbock.
Yeah, I just didn't know it was because like I've lived in other places, but this is my home for a long time now, so I don't really have another perspective, but yeah, man, it's chill, it's home.
I've been trying to figure out the restaurants here. I had that Picante's place the other day, and that was really good.
Yeah, man, and there's one across the street called the Rondas. It's pretty good.
I need to check it out.
Yeah, it's just right down the street this way.
Like, I feel like for the first few weeks, I was eating just a fuck ton of Tikka Shack.
Is that pretty? I've never been there. Is it pretty good?
So that's a thing that I was kind of tripped out by. I thought it was a chain because I went in there and it's like it looks like a Chipotle almost, like that same type of restaurant, sit down, fast casual, but it's like Indian food. I looked up the website because I thought it was a big chain. I was like, oh, Lubbock has it.
I thought it was too.
There's 5 locations. There's 2 in Lubbock. There's 1 in like Pennsylvania and 2 in Arizona.
Okay.
That's it. And it was started in Lubbock, so it's a local restaurant.
Oh.
It is a local thing. And
I don't know where the other one's at. The one you went to is by Tech, right?
There's one by University, and then there's one way up on. Is it Milwaukee? Is that the one way the fuck out there when we're talking about more of the yuppie fancy side of town?
Yeah, that way.
Yeah, so there's one way out there. I think is that street called Milwaukee?
Yeah, well, so Milwaukee, like Milwaukee, Frankfort, Indiana, Quaker Slide.
So
like they run north
past like
they just run north south.
Something like 90s.
Okay, yeah,
it's like
probably
way out there, but that's
I don't know.
I didn't know it looked like a chain, but it's not. Tikka Shack is a Lubbock thing. Lubbock.
Yeah, man, I tried to make some Indian food one time. It came out pretty good, but
Really?
they go in with the spices.
I dig the cinnamon.
Really?
I like the cinnamon taste.
What'd you order there?
I always get the butter chicken there.
Oh, okay.
The cinnamon tastes really great in it, but if you're wanting like fast casual like Indian food, Tikka Shack's pretty fucking good. I'm not lie.
Oh yeah, we like Mexican. What you looking for? There's Raider Burrito. There's Jalisco.
This is the tricky thing. This is one thing that sucks. Is I will say this is the one area Amarillo's got Lubbock beat. Amarillo has way better local restaurants. Lubbock seems to more focus on chain restaurants.
There's a shitload of them, man.
A ton of chain restaurants. Where in Amarillo, there's like a ton of like incredible.
What's that place called? The Bean or The Bean?
Oh, yeah.
The country.
Oh, God, I hate that you brought that up.
Oh, I didn't want to, but it's only right that I bring it up now.
Yeah, sadly, I just found out this week that my absolute favorite restaurant in Amarillo is closing. I think due to COVID. The Vietnamese restaurant Saigon.
There's one here.
Well, no, it's
different. Okay.
Name, but this is Vietnamese, like best pho you've ever had in your life. But like incredible stuff.
Yeah, before we can, the Ramen Shack. It's a food truck here.
Yeah,
you like it?
Blake and Tristan had it there.
It's fucking delicious. I had it Saturday for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get them on the podcast. Please come on. Yeah.
It's good. I was a fan. It was very good. Amarillo has an insane ramen place called Ichiban Ramen. It's hard as shit to get in. Like, it's the most poppin' little restaurant in Amarillo. And I've had ramen in way bigger cities, and I don't know why this ramen shop in Amarillo is the best I've ever had. It's ridiculous. A lot of hype.
Yeah.
Place.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she likes soups. She orders soup now in 110 degrees.
Oh.
And I'm very much against that, but I'll eat ramen.
Ramen.
I will.
Fire. I mean, ramen's really good. My favorite sick food is like a miso ramen, like spicy miso.
That's what she got. It's pretty good.
Stocked up miso ramen was great. Also, going to a Vietnamese place and getting like a really good pho. The broth is like really good. But yeah, the miso ramens are really good. But if you ever stop in Amarillo, go to Ichiban Ramen. That place is one of the best restaurants I've ever had, just anywhere. Like, I'm talking about, it's on quality with any place I've ever eaten at in LA. It's just phenomenal.
Oh, y'all have tootin' totems?
We do have
tootin' totems over there.
Man, that's our weirdest trip up moving to Lubbock and not seeing a tootin' totem, and I'm so fucking glad to not see.
Is there stripes up there?
No.
No?
Tootin' totem has a stranglehold on Amarillo. Like, the only convenience store that has, like, kind of been able to stay is Pack-A-Sack.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Pack-A-Sacks are great. I love Pack-A-Sacks are the like highbrow.
I love like saying that when like because you're saying that on like Stripes and like when you say 7-Eleven as opposed to Stripes.
Yeah.
And people don't know what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, Stripes are pretty good here. They have really good.
Yeah, Amarillo doesn't have 7-Eleven Stripes anything. It's just two.
So they really do.
Or the couple of Pack-A-Sacks.
Yes, we have Stripes. 7-Elevens are really big. Market Street, they have, or United's have gas stations.
Yeah. And the sad thing is because of Tootin' Totem and Amarillo, that's the reason why we never have an Allsups. Like, you had to go to Canyon outside.
Hey, we don't have an Allsups.
Oh, really? Fuck, man.
We just got a Brahms.
Yeah.
We just got a Brahms.
The biggest bummer, if someone were to ask me, like, I'm glad to be living in Lubbock, but if someone were to ask me what is the biggest bummer about moving to Lubbock from Amarillo, I would say Lubbock doesn't have a Waffle House.
Yeah.
And that sucks. I hate that.
I've never been to one, but
they're incredible. Amarillo has 4 Waffle Houses,
really?
Which is like insane.
It's really interesting. Like, it's really not, like you say, it's not that far away, but it's almost completely different.
They don't feel anything alike.
They really don't.
No.
They really don't. I mean, there's like a side of Amarillo, I think it's the west side, that has like the chains and Academy and the what's that burger? BurgerFi. You know what I'm talking about? That size, like, kind of feels like Lubbock. Yeah. But there is really like, it's not Lubbock. Like, and I want to be like, yeah, it's the same. It's not the same at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, the big thing that I remember, my cousin lived in Lubbock for a long time. He's a lot older than me, and he's way more up on the history of the two cities because he grew up in Amarillo and moved to Lubbock. But the thing you always have to factor in, the reason why Amarillo and Lubbock feel so entirely different from each other is not only the slight difference in climate and weather, but also Amarillo was a far more advanced town early on because Amarillo was a farming and ranching town. Lubbock was a cotton town, which the semantics and why that's important is Lubbock being a cotton town, Amarillo being ranching and cattle. Ranching and cattle is a lot more money. Like, they were way more artistically inclined, more liberal, more drunk.
Really? Back in the day?
Rich. Where Lubbock was a very tiny little wholesome cotton picking town. Like cotton, that's it. So they didn't have the big cattle money going on. So Amarillo was developing way earlier than Lubbock. Like long decades and decades and decades before Lubbock. Lubbock, really, by all accounts, didn't start legitimately developing until Texas Tech.
I was about to say, is it until Tech?
So that's why, if you go to Amarillo, you see a lot older of architecture in the buildings. Like,
yeah, it seems a lot more older.
I know Lubbock had the tornado, which took out a lot of old Lubbock. But that's why Amarillo, I always have people tell me that Amarillo just feels older and creepier.
Yeah, it does.
Because it is. Because it's way older than Lubbock.
Okay, that makes sense.
Developed. But Lubbock got tech and changed everything. And that's why Lubbock hasn't reached its prime yet because it's only just growing. And Amarillo, I would say, is somewhat kind of stagnant. Like, Amarillo kind of reached its peak and it's just stuck there. But Amarillo developed way earlier.
Okay, there you go, guys. Makes sense now.
That's where the culture is.
Yeah, they should. I think I heard they were getting Tech was getting a veterinarian school and putting it in Amarillo.
And that's been a big controversial thing.
Really?
It's been a big point of controversy because a lot of people felt that a lot of money is being funneled into that project because a lot of money has been put into it. And a lot of people have complained that they feel like why are we trying to get a vet school when our city's struggling?
Oh.
Which, to a certain extent, I understand some of it. I understand both sides. I mean, I think it could be a big benefit to Amarillo because having a full vet school where you can go to Amarillo if you want to be a veterinarian, you can do all of your studies there, finish. Like, you don't have to, like, that's the thing. The reason me and my wife are in Lubbock is because she wanted to get her master's in theater. You can't get that at WT. You can't get a master's in theater. And that's why it's a big deal for Amarillo to finally have some form of education where you can actually get a master, like the highest degree you can, certification to become a vet. In Amarillo, you don't have to leave, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, well, it seems like it'd be a good money-making opportunity. My sister wants to go there. Wonder if they do open.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, man. I'm thinking, hold on, my bad. We've had a person on before who was married, but she got a divorce. You've been married how long?
5 years.
Since you were...
I just turned 21 when I got married. I'm 26.
I'm interested to know about the married life.
Oh, like, what is it like?
Yeah, first, what's it like being married, man?
It's great. I mean, obviously, I got married younger than most people do. My wife had just turned 20. I just turned 21 when we got married. And I will say, getting married young, at first, the idea of it's so romantic. You romanticize, like, let's get married. And it's a real rush. Then you get married, and it's just like, being married is work. Like, it's not like dating 2.0. It was a lot of work, and it was like, oh, holy shit, I got married. Like, we were both just kind of like, did we just get married? Like, it was crazy. For a long time, it was like weird saying my wife. Like, it kind of tripped you out. It was weird, like, oh, this is my wife. Like, it was just really weird. But it's been incredible because she's been there with me through so many big things in my life. And it's been cool to experience my life with somebody. It's not like just me, it's with somebody. And then now moving to Lubbock for her so she can get her master's in theater. It's cool to not only experience someone else's dreams, trying to realize their dreams, but also the fact that they're supporting you in yours. So it's kind of like, it makes life a lot easier when you have somebody on your team. It's like you have a built-in like person going, yeah, you can do it. Let's go. You know what I mean? As opposed to like not being married, it's just different than having that person there. That's just like I feel bad because objectively my wife's like having a built-in therapist. Like, you just have somebody to talk to and be like, hey, like I want to talk. You know, it's an incredible thing. It's really incredible.
How do you I guess everybody's different because when I think about marriage, I'm like, fuck, I'm with the same woman forever. Ever. Like, yeah, but like, I'm thinking like, my bad. Like, yeah, what do you mean my bad?
The reason why I say but you're not is think about you 5 years ago. Think about you now. How similar are you to that?
I guess you're right. How are you, everybody?
And how great is it to grow with a person who has seen the whole thing? It's not like you have to tell the story over and over. They were there for that shit. They saw it. They know every stage of you. So it's not like people are like, oh, you're just with the same person forever. I'm like, best case scenario, you grow as people together. And 10 years from now, you're when you got married is almost unrecognizable to who you are now. You've changed and progressed and aged and matured and learned together. And it's a comforting thing to know there's somebody that's been there for it and they've seen it and they know what you've gone through. You know what they've gone through. You've been there for all of it. And it's like a really comforting thing, you know.
Yeah, how do you God damn it, what was I gonna say? I had it and I lost it. Being with you forever. Yeah, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Is that kind of how you knew you were wanted to marry her? Is like you thought about it when you were younger, like I want to be with her forever. Yeah, that doesn't scare me.
Yeah. It felt
it felt comfortable, and the thought of like not being with her that's way scarier. Like you're not scared to get married, you're scared to not be with that person.
Okay.
And it felt natural. Like the whole thing, it never felt weird. Yes, it felt weird to say my wife just because it was a trip at 21 to already be married. And then people would automatically assume you had a kid because you were married. Like, oh, do you have a kid? It's like, no, just did it. Just got married.
Do you plan on having kids?
I think so. It's just, I don't know. It's, I don't know. Being a dad just seems super scary to me.
Same. I was just thinking that too, though. Being married young, you can live a lot of life together before you have kids.
Yeah.
You know, you can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
10, 15 years, and then, or whatever age. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little fucking buzzed. And I am probably not gonna be making sense much more, so.
No, you're still making sense.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
This was cool, man. This was really great.
This is great.
Sorry about the headphones. I don't want to seem like a chump, but
No.
I am not inclined to this technology bullshit. I spent a lot of money on this for it to do that to me. It pisses me off, but whatever. And I'd love to have you back on
Absolutely.
in the future. We don't want to. I flooded my fans with a lot of people over and over, and I don't want to do that again. But I'd love to have you on again.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. I think this was like the first episode I've really like dove into somebody's life.
Awesome.
And I really learned what you said about you taking the initiative and hitting those people up.
Yeah.
Because I was very curious and very like, how the fuck did he get these things? But now I know. Now you know.
Yeah.
Don't be scared, like you said.
Yeah.
Accept no. You know, you're gonna be told no. It's okay. And we're gonna. I've been told no a lot of times doing this. So, for those of you wondering, and that's how I know I'm drunk, because I'm rambling. But again, man, Hayden, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
And if you want to drink a few, we will. But I'm gonna end this. So I'm gonna say thank you. This might be episode 61, 16. I told you I don't know, because I don't know if I should release the other one. But I'm gonna pump these out this weekend, so you guys be on the lookout, man. You got any last things to say? Any music for them to listen to, for the 10 fans I have? Anything like that?
Listen to John Mouse. M-A-U-S, John Mouse. Just listen to John Mouse.
There you go.
That's it.
I'll see y'all guys next time.